Hello and welcome to our new spring release spotlight for Rourke, where you will get to know all of our new titles available in January and March. Please keep in mind that, as always, everything you see today is available in paperback, hardcover, and ebook formats. And each one of these titles also includes those great Classroom Connection free online printable resources for readers and educators. Now, before we get too excited about what's brand new, let's not forget about what just came out, our Fall of 21. And we've received news that all Fall 21 nonfiction series have received review in Booklist. This includes individual titles from Animal Behavior Investigations, Beyond the Battlefield, and Reaching for the Stars, as well as full series review for the second release of Leaders Like Us and the High-Low series, Gaming and Esports. We are very excited to make this announcement today. So if you haven't seen the Fall 21 series, go and check them out. All right, let's get started taking a look at what we hope will be reviewed titles and our next release, again available in January and March of 2022, starting with a series for our oldest readers with our Connections imprint. This is Data in Your World. It is for grades 5 through 9 at 48 pages and 7.5 by 9. This is all about data literacy. And we know that data literacy is a pivotal citizenship skill that is not often or easily taught in schools. Yet data floods our media at amazing speed. How accurate is this data and how can it be manipulated? And what can it tell us about our lives? The first title in this series is Exploring Our Schools. Students learn how to read and understand the data that affects their education, from funding to diversity to inequities. Readers will better understand how to analyze and question data representation, data gathering, and the impact of data on their academic lives. Text focuses on questioning, mathematical inquiry, and critical thinking, and the visuals are tied to data representation, expectations, and standards appropriate for the target age group. Our next title in the series, Data in Your World, is Communities Near and Far, that helps students better understand the makeup of their world. From racial diversity data to the ways that people are categorized and counted, this title explores the people who make up our communities, from the smallest towns to the world. Readers will learn to question and represent data in ways that are equitable and to look for issues that can make data inaccurate. We are very pleased to announce 2 new authors who have joined our team for this release of Data in Your World. We are thrilled to work with these 2 academics. They are doctors of math education, and they actually teach teachers how to teach math. We have Dr. Courtney Koestler. She's the main author on Data in Your World, Exploring Our Schools. And we also have Dr. Matt Felton-Koestler. He is the author of Communities Near and Far. Both authors focus on equity and mathematics through a focus on real-world topics that kids care about. Courtney and Matt are very active in key organizations for mathematics educators, such as the National Council for Teachers of Mathematics, and they understand the need for resources that integrate reading and mathematics instruction. So welcome to Dr. Felton-Koestler and Dr. Koestler. We're very happy to have them on our team. Next, also in our Connections imprint for our oldest readers in grades 5 through 9, we have the 48-page, 7.5 by 9-inch Travel To series. Travel To is really a field trip on a page. It highlights the importance of place and time. This Travel To series spans the most known to the most obscure places, times, and touchstones that tell the stories of who we are. This series will extend for fall of 2022 with a travel to U.S. landmarks, monuments, and symbols that will tell the true stories of the places that mark history in the United States. So this will soon be a 3-title series. So let's start by taking a look at places of protest. In this title, readers travel to places where people have used their power to demand change. By exploring locations in the U.S. and around the world, readers will use the page to stand in locations where people have put their lives and bodies on the line for a cause. Next, we have Coolest Collections. Collections connect us to the past, within the present, and even into the future. Readers will learn about fascinating collections from priceless art and historical artifacts to creepy collectibles and downright silly stuff. Readers travel through the globe to discover true stories of famous museums, local oddities, and everything in between. And let's meet our authors on this series. First, we have Jen Breach. As you can see, Jen has a lot of firsthand experience with activism. This is our first time working with Jen, and they are already writing 4 new titles for fall of 2022. We are very excited to continue our relationship with Jen as we move forward. We also have a familiar face, Kaitlyn Duling. Kaitlyn's series, Gaming and Esports, will be reviewed in the December issue of Booklist. Kaitlyn will also be the author of our Leaders Like Us extension for fall of 2022. And speaking of an extension for Leaders Like Us, JP Miller is back with more Leaders Like Us. Adding to our existing 10 titles, we have 4 more Leaders Like Us from JP. To note, Leaders Like Us is enlarging the circle to focus on leaders in the LGBTQIA+ community, adding another author to the Leaders Like Us team, Kaitlyn Duling. But this season brings us the stories of O.W. Gurley, who was a savvy businessman. In 1905, he purchased 40 acres of land in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that became known as the Greenwood Community, one of the richest African American communities. Also known as Black Wall Street, the Greenwood Community was later destroyed during the Tulsa Race Massacre. We also highlight Frederick O'Neill, who was an outspoken leader for equity in the American entertainment industry. In 1940, he co-founded the American Negro Theater. And Georgia Gilmore, who was an amazing cook. She had a big heart and loved to help others, and you can find out more about how she used her skills to help the civil rights movement in her book. And Cathy Hughes, a media sensation. In 1979, she purchased the radio station WOL in Washington, D.C., and with hard work, she grew her business into the largest Black-owned radio and media company in the United States. And looking inside, you can see that illustrator Amanda Cordy once again adds her unique style to this release, continuing the strong picture book-like interiors that are perfect for read-alouds and independent reading. Each biography of these lesser-known Black leaders focuses on inspiring stories and highlights determination and joy. Also included is a timeline and quotes from or about these amazing people. I'm sure you are familiar with our author, JP Miller. JP is already working on a new title and a new project for Leaders Like Us for our next release, as well as working with new Leaders Like Us author Kaitlyn Duling to extend our featured biographies to the LGBTQIA+ community. Exciting things are on the way for JP Miller. And we haven't strayed from our support for classroom standards, and we know that folks are still looking for ways to incorporate science into reading instruction. This Let's Go, Let's Grow series also includes inquiry, a practice that is pivotal for science learning, but often missing in low-level nonfiction text. In Let's Go, Let's Grow, readers in grades 1 through 3 solve a science mystery in an inquiry-focused series. Topics and titles incorporate NGS standards of life cycles and classification of living things. In What is Sprouting, readers will explore plant parts, growing cycles, sunlight and energy, and more. And as you can see, each title starts with a question that is answered at the end of the book after students have gathered more information and facts to respond to the question. In What is Hatching, readers will learn all about creatures who start in an egg, from birds to insects to reptiles. And finally, in What Will Be Born, readers will explore mammals and how they grow. And our author of this series is Stephanie Ann Box. You may recognize Stephanie as the author of one of our best-selling titles From the Women in Science and Technology series, we have Ayanna Howard. Stephanie is also a teacher, and she brings her joy for the classroom into all of her titles. And speaking of joy, we are so happy to announce our Ready Reader title for this release, Life Through My Lens. Inspired by joy and extending to the ways we find joy in our world, this series of 4 celebrates everyday life and unexpected moments. Each title defines words and ways of describing how we live and feel through our different and diverse lenses. This series is truly unique for us. It is the first time we have used an author team. This team not only wrote the text for the series, they also took all of their own photos to represent the themes in each title. So let's meet these amazing authors and photographers. We have Kaitlyn, who you have already met. We have Alma Ramirez. Alma is a longtime translator and a first-time author for Rourke. We have Alan Wells, who you surely recognize from his Fall 21 series Beyond the Battlefield, including the reviewed title Journalists. And Martin Wong, a writer from Los Angeles, a curator of the ongoing Save the Music in Chinatown concert series. Martin's daughter is also in the punk band The Linda Lindas, and they make an appearance in these titles. And as you can see from the interior of I See Love, simple text, all of these are GRL levels B and C, complements illustrative photos, once again taken by our authors to promote authenticity and representation. And each title also has visual vocabulary for those emergent readers. And you can see the Linda Lindas performing on this spread. And here we have the beautiful families of I See Family. And finally, we have I See Community. We are so excited about these unique and beautiful titles for our youngest readers. And Life Through My Lens is the final series we'll discuss today. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me, Wendy Vincent, at wvincent@carsondelosa.com. If you have questions about sales, reach out to my friend Jonathan at jstrickland@carsondelosa.com. Again, please reach out if you have any questions at all. Thank you for joining us today. We can't wait to get these books in the hands of kids.